It is Sunday, the 23rd of April. I just had a conversation with a fellow who passed by on a bike and suggested that my protest was useless. Unfortunately, it seems that that may or may not have been recorded. It certainly wasn't recorded in full, because when I checked my camera after the guy left, I noticed that it had turned off. And I have a feeling it turned off prematurely again. I may have to check the camera to see that it's actually working properly, because it's not the first time that it seems to have stopped recording when it shouldn't have. But I think I got at least the beginning of the conversation. And if I didn't get the end of it, suffice it to say that this fellow who basically said, go do something useful, essentially saying that my protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse and Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of clergy abuse was not useful. We got into a little argument about that, and in fact, he got my back up a little bit. I can't say I was super polite to the guy. I think I even called him an asshole at one point. But nonetheless, towards the end of our discussion, he did say that he would check the facts. He did say that he would look into things. I gave him the names of Unitarian Universalists who'd been charged, tried, and convicted of pedophilia and or rape, specifically Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell, Richard Buell, Stephen Craig Bullite, and I also gave him the name of Reverend Ron Robinson, who was recently arrested on child porn charges, not producing child porn, but accessing it in websites and so on. So here we have David Rollert. Looks like David Rollert. Okay, I thought he might be heading for the hose, but apparently not. David Rollert has in the past erased my chalk slogans with the hose of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. So David Rollert has erased chalk slogans like this one. This makes David Rollert a knowing and willful participant in Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of clergy abuse. In fact, David Rollert, if I remember correctly, has erased chalk slogans that were actually even more specific than these ones, which are fairly generally worded. David Rollert has erased chalk slogans that specifically speak about Unitarian Universalists covering up and hiding clergy sexual abuse, clergy sexual abuse of children, misuse of Canada's blasphemy law, and legal bullying intended to hide child sex abuse, and so on. So anyway, it looked like he was heading towards the area where the hose is. So I thought he might grab it and try erasing my slogans, but it seems he decided not to. Maybe he doesn't appreciate ending up on YouTube, because when he did that the last couple of times I saw him, or at least once anyway, I'm pretty sure I recorded that momentous occasion and posted the video to YouTube. So that makes David Rollert not only complicit in Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of clergy abuse, but a knowing and willful participant in Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial of clergy abuse, including very serious clergy sexual abuse. So I hope David Rollert is proud of himself. Anyway, we're going to continue to circulate here. And looks like there's some people looking at the chalk slogans here. So they were standing there reading the chalk slogans. Looks like David is there to greet them. So, yep, David is welcoming this elderly couple who I do not recognize. And I gotta... Okay, that fellow's not going into the church. Yeah, a few more people coming this way. We'll see how many go in. How many are just ordinary passers-by. Oh, looks like my picket signs, freestanding ones, got blown down. Didn't see anyone knock them down. I don't see anyone around who could have done it, so I guess the wind knocked them. But it's not unusual for Montreal Unitarians, or indeed other Unitarians, to knock down my picket signs in front of the church in an effort to express their displeasure with my protest, or indeed to try to hide what I'm saying. Anyway, getting back to this fellow, it's very unfortunate that the whole conversation was not recorded. I'm hoping that most of it at least was recorded, but I have a feeling it might not have been. You know, so he starts off berating me as doing something that's not useful, but at the end he is actually agreeing to look into matters further. He's basically saying that he will engage in what Unitarian Universalists call a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So he's not saying, you know, I 100% agree with you, but what he is saying is, okay, you know, maybe you actually do have some valid points, and so I'm going to look into this further to determine, you know, whether or not you are, you know, providing truthful information. And he will discover that everything I'm saying on my picket signs or in my chalk slogans is supported by plenty of evidence. So we'll see what happens with that. But actually, this is one of those instances which I've spoken about before. You know, I have spoken about positive and negative reactions from the public, and I have said that the vast majority of reactions from the public are positive. I'd say at least 8 out of 10 reactions are of a positive, supportive nature, and only 1 or 2 out of 10 are of a negative and critical nature. But what I have said, and this is an example of it, is that when I have the opportunity to explain why I am protesting and what the protest is about to some of those people who have had negative reactions, some of them actually change their minds and realize that they should not have reacted negatively. They recognize that, well, you know, actually, yeah, you do have good reason to be protesting in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. This fellow didn't go quite that far. He said he would look into things further, but he nonetheless backed away from his assertion that my protest is not useful. In other words, useless. So yes, the wind is clearly blowing my picket signs here. So, oh dear, I hope I didn't sexually harass the wind. Yeah, that's an ironic statement, based on the fact that, amongst other things, the Unitarian Universalist Association's Canadian attorney, Stikeman Elliott Barristers and Solicitors litigation lawyer, accused me of threatening and defamatory conduct amounting to sexual harassment of one Reverend Dr. Kelly Murphy Mason for using the colloquialism sucks and blows at the same time to describe her two-faced hypocrisy, which is ludicrous. The term sucks and blows at the same time is about people doing two completely contradictory actions within a short time period. You know, saying one thing and then saying the exact opposite within a short time period, or saying one thing and then doing something that negates what you said in a very short time period. And that's exactly what the Reverend Dr. Kelly Murphy Mason did. And so I use the term sucks and blows at the same time to describe her hypocrisy. So anyway, the UUA, and I guess Reverend Dr. Kelly Murphy Mason herself, thought it'd be a really good idea to accuse me of threatening and defamatory conduct amounting to sexual harassment of Reverend Dr. Kelly Murphy Mason for saying she sucks and blows at the same time, as it were. That didn't work out very well for anyone there. And has yet to go to court. I don't think it ever will. Oh, thanks for the bow, Harvey. So, Harvey Shepherd, former religion columnist of the Montreal Gazette, gives a little bow as he gets out of the taxi. Unfortunately, that sign of respect is negated by some of Harvey Shepherd's other actions, which have demonstrated considerable disrespect. So anyway, we got a bunch of, higher level Montreal Unitarians here. We got David Rollert, got Reverend Diane Olenek Rollert in the background there. Got the president of the board of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, Stanislaus something or other. We got Harvey Shepherd. Got the woman in the pinkish mauve shirt. I'm trying to remember her name. It's escaping me at the moment, but she's Shoshona Green, I believe. She's a chaplain, I believe. So yeah, Shoshona Green, and a woman who I don't recognize. Sort of standing around having a little chat in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. Oh, here comes Nancy Lorimer in the yellow jacket, looking back at my chalk slogans and having a look at the tulips, which have yet to sprout properly, yet to bloom anyway. I guess they've sprouted, they just haven't bloomed. So yes, Nancy Lorimer, who I believe, at one time anyway, was an employee of the Gazette in an administrative capacity. So we got two representatives, two former employees of the Gazette right now in this little group. We got Harvey Shepherd, we got Nancy Lorimer. I could possibly be mistaken about Nancy Lorimer, but if I am, there's other Gazette employees, indeed Gazette journalists, who are members of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, which might go a long way to explaining why the Montreal Gazette has never reported on the fact that the Unitarian Universalist Association has falsely accused me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel and legal bullying intended to hide pedophilia and rape. Thank you. So this woman stepped around my chalk slogan, didn't want to smudge it. Very nice of her. She's not the only one who does that. A fair number of pedestrians do actually make the extra effort to step around the slogans rather than walking on them. So they're basically trying to avoid erasing my message, which is very nice of them. Well, it looks like they have some leaflets here. Well, it looks like it's the order of service. For some reason, it looks as if the Might not be the order service, could be something else. But looks like they're about to process into the church. They usually sing a little song or say a little chant on their way into church. This is a comparatively recent ritual. Okay, here comes Curtis Murphy, a couple of young women. Curtis Murphy is a prospective Unitarian Universalist minister, the guy with the backpack there. He has studiously ignored this protest against Unitarian Universalist misuse of blasphemy law to hide pedophilia and rape. I guess that makes him complicit in it, just like everyone else here. Oh yeah, they're having a good laugh, good chuckle. Not the least bit concerned about not only their local issues, but the fact that their religion, Unitarian Universalism, has actually attempted to misuse Canada's blasphemy law and legal bullying intended to hide such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers. Yeah, they're not the least bit concerned about that. And they're having a good laugh about something, I don't know what. So yeah, they're showing that they really don't give a hoot about my protest against Unitarian Universalist clergy abuse or Unitarian Universalist cover-up and denial thereof, or various other Unitarian Universalist injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy, such as the anti-religious intolerance and bigotry of a subset of the atheist faction of Unitarian Universalists, which has long been a part of my protest. But I have to say that, since the